everyone, welcome back to another video here. It is Christian here of the Calcio Bros, and it's time to talk about the end of Serie A. I definitely want to do one last week after the midweek game, but work kind of got with me, and then yesterday I would have loved to do one, but it's a pet peeve of mine of doing a video without all the games completed. But so let's quickly talk about the midweek fixtures, then talk about the weekend ones, and then what we're going to expect in the last game of the season, because there is still lots to play for, and especially with one midweek game this week coming up that could decide who gets relegated. Man, there's just lots to play for over here. So let's get right into that, because there's definitely lots to talk about. Like I said, quickly going on to the midweek fixtures. One game on Tuesday, May 11th, 2:45. Napoli Udinese, with the host thumping the visitors 5-1. Another huge victory for Napoli, putting pressure onto the other teams as well, fighting for Champions League. Moving on to Wednesday, May 12th, 12:30. Big game. That was a battle for relegation. At this point now, both teams are officially safe. Cagliari Fiorentina, which finished in a 0-0 draw, with both teams again scared to lose because they both needed the points at the time. Now 2:45. Let's go through all the games here. We had Atalanta Benevento, where Atalanta got a comfortable 2-0 win. Bologna Genoa, where the Grifone sealed a 2-0 victory. Inter Roma, where the champions beat a Roma side a 3-1. Lazio hosting Parma, where Ciro Immobile scoring the winning goal in the last kick of the game. So that was a huge win for them. The Ligurian derby between Sampdoria and Spezia finished in a 2-2 draw. Then we had Sassuolo Juventus, where Juventus got a crucial victory for themselves, winning 3-1 in Emilia-Romagna. And then Torino hosting Milan, and Milan absolutely thumping Torino here 7-0. That was Milan's biggest win in almost 6 decades. So huge result for them, and then they would have had hoped to carry that momentum into this game, to their next game on the weekend, but definitely not the way they expected. So let's talk about the weekend fixtures now. May 15th, we had two games at 9 a.m. We had Spezia Torino battle at the bottom, where Spezia took the win 4-1 and secured themselves safety in Serie A. So congrats to them, and it puts Torino now in a difficult position. The other 9 a.m. game was Genoa Atalanta, where Atalanta was up 3-0 at half, but then it came close later on, where the game finished 4-3. Ladea, with this win, have secured themselves a Champions League spot for the third consecutive season. Congrats to them and Gasperini for the incredible work he has done with the club. 12 p.m. we had the Derby d'Italia between Juve and Inter, in a match full of drama for sure. One of the huge talking points of the season. Juventus desperately needed a win to get into Champions League, and they got it. They're defeating the champions, ending Inter's unbeaten run of 20 matches, winning this 3-2 late on. I will definitely talk about this one, because there is definitely a lot of controversy in this one. At 2:45, we had the second derby of the day, which was the Derby della Capitale between Roma and Lazio, and Roma went on and took the victory here, officially ending Lazio's top 4 chances. And this is also Roma's first win against a top 6 side this year. So that was a huge win, and Fonseca goes out winning his last derby, as he has one more match left for the club. Then we'll move on to Sunday, May 16th at 6:30. We had Fiorentina and Napoli, where Napoli got a huge win, 2-0, to further their chances for a top 4 and putting them in a good position as well. But everything, like I said, is going to go on to the last game of the season. But again, a huge victory for Gattuso's side. 9 a.m. we had 2 matches. We had Udinese Sampdoria, so just a mid-table battle here. Whoa, did I miss something? Oh no, sorry, I thought I missed something. I actually did miss one game on the midweek between Crotone and Verona, but that was a win for Crotone, and considering that game wasn't as important for both sides, so maybe that's why I forgot about it, to be honest. But sorry, now going back onto Sunday, Udinese Sampdoria battle mid-table finished 1-0 thanks to a Quagliarella penalty kick. The other 9A game was a big one at the bottom between Benevento and Crotone, where Benevento, who were up a goal, up a man for the longest time, Simi scores his 20th goal in the last minutes of the game and really puts Benevento in a tough position. This would have helped them so much going into the last game of the season where they have a crucial game against Torino, so that this now just puts them in an even more difficult position. We'll talk about as to why. We had Parma Sassuolo at 12 p.m. where Sassuolo took the win 3-1 and try to keep their uh, top seven or seventh place hopes a lot alive with that. Then in the afternoon at 2:45, we had Milan Cagliari, where Milan, if they had won this game, would have qualified for Champions League, but the game finishes 0-0, and now Milan put themselves in a very difficult position going into the last match day of the season. So I don't know what they want to expect from that now. And then on Monday, May 17th, 2:45, we had Verona Bologna, which finished in a 2-2 draw. Now those were all the matches there. Let me know what you guys thought of these games, and just be sure to let me know what you guys think of the upcoming fixtures and whatever we else have to see. Anyways, let's talk about now some of these fixtures. Like I said, we had Milan thumping Torino, so that was huge for them. Like I said, they have not won like that in 60 years or so. Rebic, that was the first Milan hat trick, I think, since Bacca's against Torino. If that stat was right, and Rebic also has the fastest hat trick in the top five leagues in 12 minutes. So so for those that just kind of whatever, it took him 12 minutes to get that hat trick from when he scored his first goal to his last goal. But very dominant performance from Milan, where in two games in Turin against Juventus and Torino, they get 2 wins, 10 goals scored, and 0 conceded. So that was a huge 6 points for them. And considering Torino now in what was it from going even back from their like the 2 games this weekend plus the one before, that's a total of where am I here, like uh 12 goals in 3 games. That's absolutely horrendous. But even with like Crotone conceding against Benevento and Verona these last 2 games, they've conceded their 91st and 92nd goal. That is a record for the most goals conceded in a single Serie A season, and you can really see why they're getting relegated if you can't if you can't not keep the goals from going in. So not a record you want to hold in the top flight. So not the greatest, right? Where else should we go on to now? So uh because of some other results going some ways, like with the Benevento draw, that did help secure Cagliari's safety. So that's all now between um Benevento and Torino for the third spot going down. So the all left to see. Lazio losing the derby as well. Like Roma definitely played a better match in this one. Like we've seen a better game against the top six, and they again with this loss, if Lazio had won all 3 games, they would have had a chance. But now they have automatically will finish in sixth spot and will automatically go to the Europa League. So they are the first official team to be in the Europa League. Still 3 spots left to be decided. Fourth, if you want to also consider the Europa Conference League. But yeah. So I guess it's 4 spots because you have 2 in the Champions League, 1 in the Europa League, and then the 1 Europa Conference League. And there's all these combinations to really see who will finish in and which spots. So we'll talk a little bit like that when we get to the standings. So let's talk about the Derby d'Italia. So Juventus entered, so like I said, saw a lot of drama this weekend. Had 3 penalties, 2 red cards, and an own goal. So this is where it gets really messy. So like I said, Juve really needed the win to qualify or get into good position, especially after losing that game to Milan. Kind of put them in a difficult position. They got the win against the Swallow, which did help them, but they still needed this because otherwise they would have been eliminated from uh, Champions League. I think if they did lose this, they would have officially been eliminated. As far as I know, yes, they would. They definitely would have. So they definitely, especially if the results went especially if the results went the same way, um, they would have been eliminated. So they really desperately needed this win, and they got it here. And Juventus definitely played with a little more urgency. Inter, especially, that they didn't play to the best Inter that we've seen. But I feel okay. So with both penalties, what I'm gonna say, there, there are those penalties that they are penalties, and I guess they can go either way. But I do feel the first 2 penalties were penalties, and they definitely could have been like, you could have got them. Chiellini being brought down um, to the box by Darmian. Okay, look, Martinez getting stepped on in the heel. He did make the move. He did delay his reaction a little bit, but I guess it kind of looks worse in slow mo. But he still kind of delayed it, and because at first when you see it, it doesn't look like he got stepped on, and instead he didn't. He just went down on his own. But um, he did get stamped on by Delit, and with then you have Chiellini's own goal, which originally the ref gave as a foul, thinking Chiellini was brought down, but Chiellini was the one tugging on Lukaku in the first place. And it's funny because an old Juventus player, Marocchi, I think was his name. I saw it a couple of days ago, but he said him, Chiellini, and another player. I can't remember which player it is, but Chiellini is one of the worst players to officiate because he's always in your face, something to say, and you can tell by his reaction, like. Um, with the penalties, he's like screaming the ref's face, and then especially when he gave the goal to Inter, he he ended up getting booked for that, I guess, for saying too much. But there is always something to say about that. But at some time, because even the players there's times you have to be on the ref's side and give them the benefit of doubt. And I can understand that in some instances, there's others where you go to the ref for what the hell are you even thinking? What are you doing? There's those times, but especially if you know you did something, like there's every player that does complain saying, "Oh, what do I do? What do I do?" And you can fully tell like he like stuck his leg out and it was like did a lazy challenge or something like that. And they'll be like, "I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing," but you clearly did something. You weren't being. I know he's trying to make the most of it, but you were the one clearly fouling Lukaku in that thing, pulling his shirt. Not Lukaku fouling you. So just let the ref do that in that instance. But the 2 main ones in that game were Bentancur's red card, which okay, the you could give the foul, sure, when he got a second yellow, but I wouldn't have given him a second yellow for that. To me, yes, he did impede Lukaku, but I didn't just to me personally, I wouldn't have felt that's worthy of a second yellow in that instance. Brozovic, sure, his was fully deserved. He decided to stop the attack and get sent off with that. But Bentancur's definitely not a red card, a second yellow offense. But I guess every ref is different. But I don't feel that was for like a second yellow. And then going to the penalty, Cuadrado was the savior. He's been one of Juve's most consistent and best players this year. Really helped them, really providing a lot of assists for his teammates, and has always put out good performances. But to me, he fully looked for that foul. He's the one that kicked. Was it Perisic who fouled him? I think it was Perisic. He stuck out his leg onto Perisic. Not Perisic sticking out his leg. He went past him and decided to stick out his leg to knock himself off balance, and the ref gave the penalty. But they didn't even go to VAR. They didn't get no. I know the refs didn't tell him to go take that, which he should have, but I don't know if he completely ignored him. But that is not a penalty there at all. At all. So that really, like, what are you doing? Like, come on. And it's funny. Like, I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine, and he is Juventino as well, and he even agreed like that wasn't a penalty, and he put out this statement. It's not a statement, but this was like a thought of his where it's like, Juve had a terrible season all year, especially after those 9 years of dominance, and it's like you're coming down to the crunch where they need to qualify. He's like, he said it's like they have to have Juve in the Champions League because they expect Juve to be the ones that are always supposed to be in it. And after a result like that, you kind of think, is that it? Like, I know we shouldn't always blame a corruption and all that, but like after that, it's like, what the hell? Like, it's like, okay, and considering they haven't been that successful too in Champions League, that knocked out by Lyon, Ajax, and Porto in recent years, lost 7 straight finals, and it's like, and they're expected to be in the Champions League only to what, you know? But we could expect them to do better for sure. They could make it to the finals, but we don't know how they're gonna do. They've been poor recently, and let's see what happens because again they have a pretty easy game next week, which we'll talk about a bit, but it really puts them in a better position now, especially with Milan dropping points as well. So not this is just not what we want to see, especially adding that drama. Again, like I said, a win put them in a good position. A loss would officially eliminate them from Champions League and sealed Napoli and Milan's fate for Champions League, and we would have had all 4 places, but still 2 left to play for in Champions League. So we're going to go on to the Benevento Crotone just quickly. Like I said, Benevento, if they got a win, they would have been 1 point behind Torino. Would have got their second win of 2021, and like I said, their only win of the second round of Serie A has come against Juve. So we're very poor second half of the season from Inzaghi's men, so they still have lots to play for, and things could get interesting. And like I said, they did have the result going into most of the game, but Simi scoring his 20th goal, man, his 20th goal of the season, which is incredible. He's definitely not going to be staying at Crotone next season. He's definitely going to be finding himself a new club. But Benevento really has to do some work and have to hope things go in their way because midweek is Lazio Torino. And if Torino do pick up 1 point, just 1 point, then Torino is safe and Benevento is going down. So they would hope Lazio wins that matchup. And because in the final day, it's Torino Benevento now. And if Benevento win that match, they go through because of the head to head as a last match did finish 2-2 between them, so a win would seal them, while Torino would only need a point to secure safety. So all left to play for in that match, but they have to do better, and this is why they haven't won any games, because they concede goals in the last minute of the match and really put themselves in a difficult position near the end. So terrible, terrible result. Now, Milan Cality, again, Milan playing their second game without Ibrahimovic as he did get injured against Juve and is out for the season, so he'll even miss the next match against Atalanta, so that's the biggest one that they had to play for their season. So going to this now, Milan, all they needed was a win. Cagliari already assured safety thanks to Crotone or the Benevento's draw, and don't have because that otherwise they would have been like 2 points behind or 3 points behind. So, but with that Cagliari assured safety, um, Milan just needed a win and then couldn't get anything through that. Couldn't really break through. Cagliari playing their compacted match and getting on the break. And Cagliari was probably the closest to scoring on two occasions through Pavoletti and Godin, I think it was. So I know it's two headers for sure, but Donnarumma playing up brilliant saves once again. And if they don't make Champions League, he may just be on his way out. So they really have to thank him for the work he has done for for his team. So very exceptional work, and they really have to do well in their next game. But a win is all they needed, and they would have been sure. But now they really put themselves in a tough position because they have such a strong opponent coming up. But there is a Coppa Italia midweek between Atalanta and Juve. And that could go either way. You know, Juve could lose and they'll be playing extra strong. If Juve loses, they really have to play for everything to get um, the Champions League spot, or you'll have Atalanta if they lose it. They're just going to try to avenge it against Milan. So really tough to say who will get it. But it's definitely lots to play for here. But they needed a win, but now this is what they didn't want to get, especially in their last game, home game of the season. It's not what they would have hoped, and especially at home, they only picked up 8 wins in total at home, and 4 wins in all of 2021. So that is just terrible, absolutely terrible. Um, that's not what you want at a home record. I know they play much better away, so they really do. They have the best away record of the league, and no one is catching up to them. But they really have to play um, with everything they got in that last game to assure themselves, because they can't rely on other teams now. They have to put the result in their hands. So it's really tough to say what will happen, especially against an Atalanta side who's already qualified. We'll see, but they put themselves in a much more difficult position. So those are some of my thoughts, and all the other matches about this weekend's. If you have anything about what I said, be sure to let me know. I'll be happy to discuss what I've said. Or if you have any thoughts on your own, be sure to comment below. Let me know. So let's go into the standings now and talk a little bit about what's going on. So at the bottom, we already know two sides are relegated, Crotone and Parma. Crotone moved up to 19th spot with 4 points in their last two matches. Now it's all between here, Torino and Benevento. Like I said, Cagliari, Spezia are safe for next year. So it's between Torino, Benevento. Torino at 35. Benevento, with that late draw, are only at 32. So a win would see Benevento go level on 35 with Torino and relegate La Granata. So who will come up in this match? But again, it all depends on how the match between Lazio and Torino finish. If Torino can manage a point, then they are safe for another season in Serie A. But otherwise, if they lose, then it's all to play for on the last day. Let's go up to the standings now. At 8 spots, Sassuolo is 2 points behind Roma, who sit in 7th spot. Both games coming up next week to see who will finish where and who will finish in the new Europa Conference League qualification. Uh, Definitely tough to say, as they both have different types of opponents, which we'll get into. 6th spot, Lazio at 67, and they are officially going to be finishing in 6th spot and have already qualified now for the Europa League with 2 games to play. Juventus sitting at 5th at 75 have kept their hopes alive now, especially with Milan dropping points and picking up 2 crucial wins against Inter and Sassuolo. Napoli and Milan both sitting at 76, Napoli 4th and Milan 3rd. So they're tied in points. Milan ahead because of the head-to-head Um, so lots to play for still with that. Atalanta is second with 78 points, having already qualified for the Champions League, and then Inter, of course, first, already champions. And it's funny, Pirlo beats Milan, ends their 27 unbeaten run, and Inter's 20-game unbeaten run. And if you want to think of it as a joke, and in Juve's 9-year dominance. So, and let's stand everything, but let's see what he does here now. So let's talk about these quick possibilities here. Now, a win for Napoli and Milan would both see themselves secure qualification to Europa League, to Champions League, even if Juventus win as well. If Milan lose, Napoli lose, and Juventus draw, then Napoli is being eliminated out of those three squads because of the mini table that is created and because of the goal differential, and especially Milan. I believe has the highest out of that one, especially winning 3-0 at Torino, 3-1 at Napoli. So um, that helps them qualify. If Milan lose, Napoli win, and Juve win, then Milan's dropping to Europa League. If Juve lose at all against their next opponents, then they are out as well. So no one can afford to lose next game, and then they have to kind of rely on other teams as well, but they also have to do their own part to help ensure. So everything's still to play for, and it's tough to say what'll happen. So let's talk about the matches that will happen to really determine this. And because some games have to be decided, they're playing coincided with each other. So let's go on to the Saturday's matches on May 22nd. Three matches all at 2:45. We got Cagliari, Genoa, Crotone, Fiorentina, and Sampdoria, Parma. So not many important matches here. Basically, all teams are either officially safe or officially relegated. So just to end off their seasons. Moving on to Sunday, 9 a.m., Inter Udinese. So, again, not much to play for on this match, where Inter will go and celebrate the Scudetto with they're finally officially lift the trophy in their last home game of the season. Now going on to the afternoon, we have all the matches here. We have Atalanta Milan at 2:45. So that is probably the biggest one out of these games, you could say. Then we also have Bologna Juventus, Napoli Verona, Sassuolo Lazio, Spezia Roma, and Torino Benevento. So quickly with the Torino Benevento match, like I said, those teams will have everything to play for to see who will stay in Serie A, depending on how Torino does in their match against Lazio. This could be the crucial game deciding both their fates here. For the Sassuolo Lazio and Spezia Roma match, this is more for to see who will get the seventh spot. If Roma win, they will get that seventh spot. Even if they draw and Sassuolo wins, head to head will go to Roma, and Roma will finish in seventh spot. So Roma just need a draw to secure themselves the seventh place finish and get European action for next season. Sassuolo has to win and hope that Spezia beats Roma and gets to qualify for some European competition. Now, going to these matches, like I said, the toughest one being Milan. Verona has been out of form, so that could really be a huge advantage for Milan. Sorry, a huge advantage for Napoli. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Uh, Going forward in this match because especially with Verona being so poorly, Napoli could take advantage because they're really flying as of late. They're cruising and just thumping opponents left, right, center. So this is a huge, huge game for them. Uh, in this match. They definitely could take this um, going forward. And then Bologna, they've been inconsistent as well over their last few matches. So Juve will hope to use that confidence they have in their last two matches and pick apart Mihalovic's Bologna side. But Mihalovic, even being a former Milan coach, can he do the Rossoneri some justice and get something against the Bianconeri? It'll be tough to see because Bologna can cause some issues, but especially that they can be very inconsistent is very troubling for them and probably won't help that but let's see what happens, right? And then Atalanta, Milan, again, the big one. Yes, Milan has been great away from home, but can they do it against an Atalanta side who have are very strong and very tough to beat? The last time they did play in Bergamo, they did get thrashed 5-0. So that it does haunt every Milan fan, every Milan player. But then after that, that's where things kind of did change for Pioli's Milan side. They did bring in Ibra, Kjaer, and Salamaker. So things really did change. So they haven't played in Bergamo since. Last two matches have been at home for them. So it'll be really tough to see how this finishes off. Atalanta, like I said, do have their midweek Coppa Italia match against Juve, and also have already qualified for Champions League. So it depends how they approach this match. And who plays with more urgency, because Milan again can't rely on the other games. They have to win, and that's that, because if they draw, they really risk themselves being eliminated from Champions League here. So they have to hope everything that they throw everything at this match and secure it, while Juventus and Napoli have the easier of the matchups for the three sides. So it's all going to come down to the last day anyway. So how do you guys think will the last match of the season will go? Who do you think will finish in the last two Champions League spots, and who will get down to Europa League? Will it be Milan? Will it be Napoli? Or will it be Juventus? Who will be relegated? Will it be Torino, or will it be Benevento? Be sure to share your thoughts on who will be going down or going to the best European competition that there is. Be sure to comment below. Let me know. If you haven't already done so, be sure to follow us on Twitter, Calcio_Bros, for any thoughts, match day updates, and just sharing some team news of what's going on around the league. Don't forget to do that. If you also haven't already done so, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications on all our latest videos. I hope to hear from you guys soon. Ciao.